Greetings once again from KitKat and me. So today, for this series, we are going to feature none other than himself, Mr. KitKat. Yes, so this week's all about a portrait of KitKat. So yes, my loving and constant companion for these past nearly 10 years, and as KitKat approaches his 10th birthday, I'm not quite sure when that is exactly, because he didn't come into my life until he was 12 weeks old or somewhere around there, and KitKat and his brother Tigger. Anyway, I'll tell you more as I go, but now he wants attention. He's been parking off in my studio since yesterday as I began preparing for this artwork, this portrait, and because I've started with a very light preliminary drawing in charcoal and a little bit of the lighter white conté. So you might see some markings on my page to begin with. The reason being is that with the recent portrait commission that I did, you know, when it comes to faces, well, be it animals or humans, and in this case it was both human and animal, and that I'll showcase once the artwork has been delivered finally. But I realized that and especially when it comes to KitKat, who's been with me for 10 years, you got to get it right. It's not just it looks like a cat. It's got to look like KitKat. It's got to have all the characteristics, the personality and everything else that is KitKat. So that's why it has to be I have to be very particular, not necessarily in technique and sort of graphic accuracy. I'm not going for a photographic photorealism finish here, but the defining features have to be quite precise. So you know, the eyes have to be in the right place and so on, the ears and eyes, yes, so it has to be recognizable to me, never mind if it was a commission. So this is important for me as I work. So I've done for that reason I've done a little preliminary. I've also got my reference image, which isn't quite 100% right, but and that was just a quite a loose sketch, just to get basic proportions, light and shade and that sort of thing, the feel of the look and feel of the piece. So anyway, as KitKat sort of settles down here at my feet and watches the proceedings, hey KitKat, or is aware of the proceedings. Okay, so this is quite a moody piece. I wanted to bring out quite a lot of contrast between light and shade. So the vast majority of this piece is quite dark, and then we've got where the light catches this side of him, as he looks towards his right, my left, our left, sort of gazing up in this direction. So I've structured the composition such that he's slightly displaced to the right. His bulk is displaced to the right. His gaze is kind of outwards from this side. So then we've got the light side over here, darker over here, dark all around, and he's sitting on some tiles, so those I'm going to kind of feature as an almost abstract prop, if you will. Right, let me get this going. Let me get this rocking and rolling. I am going to be using my what do you call it? What do you call that thing? Why am I using that? Who's me? I'm going to be using my compressed charcoal. There we go, finally. I'm going to be using my compressed charcoal quite extensively. This is black conté, just incidentally. But I'm going to be using black compressed charcoal because I've got some extreme dark areas, and there's this for a lot of contrast, dark contrast. So yes, I'm just at now defining these lines of the tiles, the join lines of the tiles. First in my, gosh, I can't even speak English today. Can't talk English. I can't talk good English today. I'm using my conté here to just indicate these lines darker, so that when I work over them, they don't become sort of lost in darkness. So I just want to put those in place for now, just so that they are workable later on. I might even lighten them slightly, I don't know. But anyway, that's where we're at. Right now though, I want to work on background stuff. Okay, not that one. Where is that other? And I'm going to be working quite graphically, quite loosely, with a lot of expressive dark. Just going to move that up there a bit. Almost to the point of, during the last session I said, this week I'm going to do something which is more abstract. I'm still not ready yet. So this is, for now, for my current state of readiness, it's about as abstract as I'm going to get in my treatment. And about as loose as I'm going to get at this point. So bear with me. I know there are those of you who shall not approve at this point, but as I said, bear with me. Oh goodness, I've got a knot. There we go, that's better. And over the next while, perhaps interspersed with other seascapes and landscapes and whatnot, whatever, I shall be doing portraits of my kitties, because as many of you will know by now, it's not only KitKat in my family, it's also Sage and Fynn. So they pop in regularly to say hi during my sessions. KitKat doesn't really approve of that, so he's still not really taken to Fynn specifically. I think because Finn's energy is quite skittish and a little bit scared. She's a scaredy cat. Black cat, scaredy cat. Anyway, so he kind of challenges that quite a lot. But they've been with me for now almost a year. So I thought it fitting that this first piece was to feature Mr KitKat as my decade-long companion. Hey, my boy, yeah. And yeah, he really has. He's seen me through a lot. You don't kind of realize how, well, many of you do, of course, realize how animals can be of such impact in one's life. I can't even think of what it would be to be without, well, any of them at this point. But KitKat's particularly, because he's always been a constant in my life, and never far away. Well, until lately, he's done a bit of wandering, but he's always been around when he's kind of needed. He's been with me through good times and not so good times. He's been, a constant, and so this is one of my tributes to him. I'm going to do probably quite a few. Once I get into the swing of it, I'll probably end up doing quite a few. So yeah, this first phase is it's not going to look like much for during today's session, but this really just setting the background or the basis even of the background, not even. So yeah, July, I forget which date, July 10 years ago was when my friend Bev gave me a call and said, look, I've got these. There's a friend who works with feral cats, but she has heard about these two kittens that were located at a nearby pet shop, which shall remain unnamed, and these two kittens, two brothers, have been there. They're now 12 weeks old and they haven't sold. And what happens in those cases is that they get put down, which is just bloody crazy. I abhor that kind of attitude towards any creature. It's just, gosh, I mean, those kinds of pet shops should be completely boycotted on all levels. It's just, I don't. Anyway. So so I got in touch and. Yeah, so the kitties, I was told that they both need to come together because they are brothers and they've been together since the beginning. since the beginning, and they need to stay together. So they come as a pair. And I said, absolutely, that's fine. And they arrived on a Friday morning and immediately began exploring the garden and what have you. Wonderful little creatures, and they have been, well, KitKat has been a constant in my life ever since. Cherished in my life. And sadly and unfortunately, they were only, I'd had them for a year, and Tigger decided it was time to move on out. Whether he's still alive or not, I don't know. I tried looking for him and sending out circulars and flyers and what have you, looking for him, and he never came back anyway. And I guess it was he just was meant to find whatever it was, whether it was another family or his maker or whatever, I don't know. But sadly he left our lives, KitKat and me, KitKat and I, never to return. So that was 9 years ago, nearly. Yeah, so I still remember him very, very fondly. He was much chunkier looking than KitKat, and even though they were from the same litter, from the same kitty litter, much chunkier than KitKat, and his markings were much more striking. Much more defined, the black stripes and whatever. He really was a fuller face, thick set more, and KitKat, even though he doesn't look that today, but KitKat's had this delicate little face, and Tigger's face was almost twice as big face, and but wonderful. Both of them had such wonderful natures, and KitKat still does today. So loving and thoughtful, caring. Really a blessing in my life. So this is for you, my boy. This baby is not for sale. However, if you like what you see, I know it's a bit different from my usual seascapes and landscapes and so on, but if you are new to if you've newly arrived at my channel, you've just tapped upon my channel, then welcome. If you like what you see, if you enjoy the process, if you enjoy the dialogue and the mental meanderings and all that sort of stuff, which is kind of what I'm all about with these sessions, and not tutorials. But anyway, nonetheless, welcome. If you like what you see, please do hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon to get notifications, and your likes are appreciated. Your shares are appreciated, and of course, as I'm always saying, if you have any queries or comments, please do so in the comment section, and I'm happy to engage with you. Not become engaged to you, but I'm happy to discuss whatever it is, as long as you're not trying to sell Bitcoin or some kind of investment scenario, I'm open. But yes, if you'd like to commission an artwork, if you've seen some of my, wow, well over 200 YouTube videos now on my channel, well over 200 in fact, then yeah, if you'd like to commission an artwork, be it a portrait, pet portrait, person portrait, tree portrait, I don't know, whatever it might be, cats, dogs, fish, whatever you feel like, seascape, landscape, any kind of thing. And whether it's this medium, which is or mixed medium of charcoal and chalk pastel primarily, or whether it's acrylic on canvas or whatever, you let me know. I have a style, I have a way of expression that is mine, and it's developed over the last few years, and especially since, and more so in fact, since I began sharing the process of these works online. Originally I was sharing these works on my workings, processes on Facebook Live, until I started having a bit of a challenge with connectivity and quality of broadband, etc. Then I stopped to pre-recorded sessions on YouTube. I would be doing live YouTube videos. However, my channel doesn't qualify yet. I have to get at least 1,000 subscribers. I don't have anywhere near that yet. So please help, please share, spread the word, and then I can at some point start offering live sessions. But in the interim, I'll definitely be offering more tutorial style workshops, mini workshops online. Oh, there you go. You can see the cat shape now. Yes, so that's a plan going forward, but so I will intensify certain areas of this dark as I move forward with compressed charcoal. So it's a very, very, very moody pick, very moody piece in that sense. It's lots of contrasting light. Many of you who know me on Facebook and Instagram, well, with my current Instagram and Facebook as well as my previous Instagram and Facebook before I was rudely hijacked and had to start all over again from scratch. Long story, but anyway, will also know that I regularly feature my cattle, as I call them. KitKat Sage and Fynn in our day-to-day happenings. So this is the first time, in fact, that I'm doing a portrait of any of them on YouTube. So, how about that, folks? How about that? Rightio, let's start with a little bit of body. We've got a little over 18 minutes left. 17, 18 minutes, and I just want to work up the contrasting, some of the contrasting areas, and just give this a little bit of body and form. So this piece is all about lighting, light and shade, contrast, mood, just to capture some of KitKat's energy, and that's really what I'm about here. Why I set out with a dark. I don't say dark in terms of mood, but dark graphic, highly contrasted, just really, and then honing in on his features, particularly his eye. There's one eye that you can see here as he looks off to the left. That wonderful gold of his eye, and his being a mackerel, he's got this lovely stripes and sort of cappuccino color. Even though, as I mentioned, I need to represent KitKat with his features and what have you quite accurately. Well, particularly his face. I mean, the structure of his face is important. But beyond that, in his eye and whatever, will be quite crisp and defined. But the rest of him is it's just about color and form. So it will take a while to build all this up. And this is by far the most charcoal intensive piece that I've worked on, I think, thus far. Of all of my works. Slowly work this up. Slowly work up the intensity of the graphic form. I think it will take all of the 4 sessions to bring this out fully, because of the the usage, the extensive usage of charcoal. You hear the laughing dove, or whatever it is in the background. Yeah, this is going to take quite some time to pull together. But what fun! It's really cool to be working with a portrait like this and something so very, very personal. Little KitKat, hey, eh? KitKat. I'm sure he knows. I was telling him yesterday that I was going to be, as I was sitting here doing my prelim skeleton structure, and I was telling him that this was all about him, and he's been around here ever since. So he is as much invested in these proceedings as I am. I'm also, instead of trying to be too finicky with how I depict his fur, his colouring, and all of that, it's more of an indication. So I'm going to use rather technique to pull that through with. So it's more of an indication, more of a hint, as I like to work. This is an expression of KitKat's energy rather than a photorealistic rendering of him. And to me, that is far more important because I'm depicting his energy, his essence. I've got thousands of photographic images of him, so that I don't need. What I do want is to just capture his essence, his lovability, and I hope that does that does come through. Yes, I shall be working extensively with not only with my charcoal, but it needs to go a lot darker spots. So I will be working extensively with my compressed charcoal as well. Luckily, I have tons of it, tons of compressed charcoal now, thanks to my dear sister Robin for gifting me a whole lot of them over at Christmas. So from having a scarcity of them, because they're difficult, they're hard to come by, compressed charcoal, and very, very expensive here in South Africa, because of course they are imported. I don't think that there's any local resource, local manufacturer of compressed charcoal. Or if there is any local manufacturer, I don't even know if any of the Indian art manufacturers, art supplies manufacturers have compressed charcoal. So yes, it's like from a scarcity to an abundance of compressed charcoal, and here it will come into play quite a lot. I'm using my charcoal stick in all directions here, because I'm just building up this intensity of line, of stroke rather. Not a great deal of line work per se in this particular piece. Unlike with, for example, a seascape, where I've got lots of little nuances and what have you, of the changing patterns on the water and all of that sort of thing. This is very different, but so I'm just building up form with this sort of semi-cross hatching and whatnot. So, but it just has to build gradually. And then, of course, our focal point, basically, just I've got a central. There's a central. So if splitting this piece up into 9 nine rectangles, just to get a grasp of the composition in that. So my focal area does not sit in that center rectangle, which is about there, right up to just under his eye. So so I've got this focal point which kind of centers over there, and then sort of it comes into there, into and out as he looks out. It's like so that the light will be catching mostly the top of his nose, the front of his muzzle, his brow, with the most intense light, his ear over here, and then kind of blending out a little bit, and then of course a highlight on his eye itself. So I want that, rather than a focal point, rather that it's the energy of his gaze which actually attracts the attention, and his demeanor. His ears are perked up and he's staring quite intently. Perhaps he's caught sight of a bird in a bush, or something along those lines, and he's just beginning to focus on it. He always had this way of, in fact cats do that. It's quite it can be quite unnerving at times, and he would sit on my lap or sit on the armrest of the chair next to me and look through me. He looks and I'll go, well, are you looking at me? And then he'd be focusing on something, but his focus would be not me, but on a blank space of wall. So it's very disconcerting. But that's what they do. They obviously, cats and other animals perceive elementals on a different spectrum to what we do, a much broader spectrum of light, of sound to what we do. So they can be seeing things and hearing things that wouldn't even come into our very limited spectrum of light and sound. Of course, we shall be using some color here. But much later on in the proceedings. Oh, and we are almost out of time, I fear, for today. However, we've made some good progress, I'm happy to say. At least he's looking a bit more like a cat than he was before. So, rightio, that'll do it for today, for today's session. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for joining me, and thank you, KitKat, for sticking around. He's curled up on the floor here, so I won't disturb him. Yes, I hope you're enjoying the proceedings so far, and if you are, like I said, please subscribe if you aren't yet, and welcome back to my existing subscribers. Please subscribe, hit the bell icon, like, share, comment. Please do. I really would appreciate it. If you start to pick up on an energy of what is transpiring here, please engage with me and let me know what your thoughts are. So yeah. Anyway, until next time in the next session, I bid you oodles and doodles of toodles, and I'll catch you again for the next one, hopefully. So do take care meantime. Be good, be kind, be gentle, be caring, be loving, etc., etc. So yes, have a fantastic day further, folks, and catch you again soon. Take it easy and goodbye. Don't forget to doodle.